Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. And let's get raspy and meet an indie agency. Where did that come from? My goodness. Carolyn, David, hold on one second. I'm going to mute. You didn't hear that. That was professional, wasn't it? Oh my gosh. How are you? Are you both in Connecticut?
So normally,
You're in Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah, normally we're together, but I spend half my time in Connecticut and half my time in Florida. So as soon as the weather kind of turns and gets cold, I fly south. So I'm in Florida right now.
Well, technically, you're New Haven, Connecticut.
Yes.
So yes, so that's the market that we throw in there, the tri-state area, as we like to say.
That's right.
I want to start with this though. Give us a little bit of a thumbnail, a little bit of a background on the agency, how it got started.
So that's such a great question and a little bit of a long answer, and you can take what you want from this.
No, you're fine. You go.
I call myself the accidental entrepreneur because I did not intend to own an agency. And so, my background had been started on the agency side, then I went client side for a really long time, like 15 years, and then came to Response actually as a freelancer. And then within a year, they made me partner, within 3 years, managing partner. And then I bought the original founders out in 2009. So didn't mean to own it, but here I am.
Yeah, I mean, let's say 2009 was quite a time. Let's just say 2009 was a thing.
Coming up in 2008 wasn't great, I have to say.
Yeah, no, yours truly started a podcasting network around there. Boy, did that tank. Yeah, you look in the dictionary. But look under the dictionary, in the dictionary under shit show, and there I am. So there you go. Let's do this. Every agency has a list of things that they're very, very good at. Some rise to the top, like 3 usually rise to the top. What would you say your top 3 core strengths are?
Yeah, I would say our top 3 are anything to do with strategic branding and branding in general. So, brand strategy, talking about not just, positioning and kind of the traditional things that a marketing agency or an advertising agency might bring to a brand, but also things like deeper and bigger, in terms of brand portfolio management, how to manage brands, how to, think about brands that have been acquired, what's their roles, what do we do with them? So, from very kind of, big and super strategic from a portfolio perspective to things like, brand identity and creating brands from scratch and things like that. So that's one, anything brand or brand strategy oriented.
Right.
2 is, bringing brand experiences to life in the digital space. So, thinking through brand experience on sites and through any kind of digital interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, and maybe most importantly, is then taking all of that, understanding of brand and executing on it in brand and performance campaigns.
Yep. Got it. David, how did you end up at Response?
Yeah, so I ended up at Response a little bit accidentally as well. Never thought I would end up actually back in Connecticut. I started my career in the film business, actually.
Got it.
On the publicity and PR side.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, was representing films from different studios, smaller indie films, taking films to different festivals to get them sold, and, handling the publicity and PR. Did that in New York City, took me out to Los Angeles, and I wanted to move back to the East. Thought I was going to end up back in New York City, and kind of on a whim, literally just sent in an application for this. I was like, oh, I saw this agency and it was in the middle of Connecticut and had some cool work. And I was like, all right, let me just see what happens. And just so happened that Carolyn and I had gone to the same college, Northwestern University.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, not at the same time, but we just, we had that connection and that bond. And, and she hired me. And that's really how I ended up at Response. through, the roller coaster of the agency business.
Right.
She and I just always kind of closely communicated, and she knew how important it was to me to feel really invested in something and part of something. And, I let her know sort of my ambitions of becoming a partner.
Right.
And so when she bought out the other partners of the agency, she brought me on as a partner.
That's great. Right. Is the
Very
dog
excited.
still behind you?
Yeah, that's
I want to
Calvin.
see the dog. No, I want to see the dog.
Calvin Klineberg.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Let me see the dog. Come on. Bring
Where are you,
him over.
buddy?
Oh, look at that face. Look. Oh, look at that face.
These are the best.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Oh, what
he
a dog.
is not looking his best. It's a little rainy in New Haven. He's got a hair
That's
appointment on Friday, but
That's all right.
Everybody.
That's all right. Our dog looks like a reggae fan from the University of Colorado. I went to a hockey school as well, so I went to University of Denver. So
Oh, how great.
Yeah, great hockey.
Let's talk, David. I want to stick with you. Let's talk about being independent. Why is it so important to be independent?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different things that really stand out as being an independent. One is from a culture perspective and our people perspective, right? We can see the full individual. We don't look at our team as, line items on a spreadsheet. And of course we look at, usage rates and profitability and all of that. But, as an independent, we can make decisions about our team, right? And how we treat them, how we help them evolve and give them the time and the space to do great work, to consistently elevate what their skill sets, and make those decisions independent of, a board or a holding company, that type of thing. So certainly the culture that Carolyn and I try to create is stems from us, and I think a lot of our personality types. We lead with a lot of empathy. And we've been in some groups together that have called us out about our personality types, and and
okay.
And it was interesting that really stood out, and it's important to us to be able to do that, right? So culturally, I think being an indie really is a mindset, is a way we approach things of how we try to set that culture. And then, from a client perspective, obviously, we're nimble, and we have people with really great depth of experience, from large agency experience to mid-size agencies and all of that. But we can also choose and look at our work and the way we operate to do what's in the best interest of the partnership, right? Like the partnership between ourselves and our client. And sometimes we make decisions to really invest in that. And of course, we want the business to be healthy and profitable. But there's times where we make decisions as a independent agency where we know what we believe what's in the best interest of that long-term relationship.
Sure.
And maybe it's sacrificing a little bit on our end because we can do that because we don't have to have the answer to a larger organization.
That's my personality type right there.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, maybe
the -A means assertive. It is. Yeah. I'm an assertive introvert. Yeah.
Assertive introvert, you said?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. There we go. Introverts unite. Carolyn, and this is interesting coming from your perspective, having been on the brand side for so long. What's the main reason a brand should work with you and work with the agency?
Well, I think a couple things here too. I think on the brand side, we because we're independent and because we're small, I feel like we have the ability to get really close to the brands that we work with. And it's really important for us to be close to the brands that we work with and really understand, who they are from, their core DNA and what their purpose is. And, I think that's the foundation of really great marketing, is understanding the brand in a really deep and meaningful way. And by doing that, and understanding them so well, it's the foundation to really deliver amazing results, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's all about, how can we properly, communicate the brand in a way that resonates and drives impact for the brand.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I would imagine also with all of your extensive experience on the brand side, there's a certain level of empathy for marketers and CMOs because it ain't an easy job.
It's not. And I think, it's interesting you say that, Doug, too, because I did spend a huge part of my career on the brand side and working with agencies, right? So sitting on the brand seat, and interacting with agencies. And I think sometimes agencies who don't have any brand experience, client side experience, sometimes lose perspective, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so good that we have that perspective.
Right.
And I tell my team often when we start thinking about things, and maybe sometimes you can get frustrated with, how long it takes a client to get back to you, or, them not thinking about the creative the way we are, whatever. And I say, listen,
Right.
we've got to put ourselves in their shoes too.
Yeah.
Understand what it's like from their perspective.
Yeah.
Some of our clients are huge organizations that are, on Wall Street, right? And they're publicly traded companies. And so there's a different set
Mm-hmm.
of situations they're dealing with and
different
pressures
vibe.
they're dealing with, by being in that situation versus ours. So
exactly.
But it's really important to have that perspective on the agency side.
Right. I would also say, though, if you don't have that experience, it's a great opportunity to learn, and it can be a learned thing. It's not something that's natural. So
Totally agree. Yeah.
Brief trivia while we're thinking about it. It's a Connecticut trivia question. Who is the most famous marketer historically from Connecticut? CMO. I'm thinking of a very specific CMO. You got 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh, you're stumping me, Doug.
Just try. It's going to be so obvious when I say it.
The most famous CMO.
It's Linda Boff.
Linda Boff from
GE.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. GE's not here anymore.
Well, back then they were. I just wanted to see if I could get a Jack Donaghy something in there, a little 30 Rock something. I really don't have anything else. Let's move on to talent. David, why should talent be putting the agency on their list?
I think hopefully the people who we already have are a great testament to what it's like working with us. We've had a lot of people who have been there a long time, and that is something to us that indicates we're doing something right. They can be fulfilled in what their role with us. I think we create a great environment that is about collaboration. We really value curiosity, bravery, and caring. Curiosity, bravery, and caring are actually our values. And what we do embody that, I believe, and we give people a lot of freedom. We're not micromanagers. We give people room to explore and be creative, to find new things that they're also, really talented at, and then support them in being able to expand those. I also think we believe in standing up for our team and supporting them, and giving them the right resources to succeed. And we have a really strong team. I think we lead with empathy, and I think that's a big thing that kind of just creates the culture.
Yep. This is a new question we decided to throw in, and I kind of love this question. Do you consider yourselves weirdos, misfits, or underdogs? And why is that?
Individually or as an agency?
No, just as an agency. Yeah.
I would say underdogs in certain ways. And I think as a smaller indie agency, you have to have that attitude a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, I think maybe we could all find in ourselves maybe individually some of the weirdness, and maybe we don't want to confess that on today, but maybe we will too. But no, I think underdog is a good word, and I think we have a confidence in the work we've done and the results we've gotten for our clients, but underdog spirit, I think moves us to earn our seat at the table.
Yeah, I like that. Carolyn, we're going to close with this. Whether they are a current, and David, you'll get a chance to answer this as well, whether they're a current client or not, which CMO or marketer do you want to say hi to?
So we do a lot of work in the restaurant space, and that's where I come from too. I spent, a huge part of my career on the client side in restaurants. So I worked for Darden Restaurants for many years, and then helped a startup restaurant concept called Sandella's go from 0 to 125 locations across the country. So I love restaurants. I love the restaurant business. We work with many restaurants now. And we're constantly on the lookout for like, who else could we help? And so I don't know who the current head of marketing or CMO is for Torchy's Tacos, but
interesting.
I
know. Now I know. Yes, I do. I had Torchy's the first time last summer.
Torchy's is awesome.
It's solid. Yeah, that's that. Right. So I'm up here in the Northwest, don't have it, right? So it's definitely primed for expansion. There's no question about it. Yeah, it is
growing. They're growing quite a bit, and their food is great. Their locations are killer. I would love to connect with them because I feel like they're they're pretty innovative. They're like young and fun and doing lots of really cool things, and I feel like we could help them on their.
You ready for the next step? I got it. David?
Yeah, great question. I think two things come to mind. One is totally agree with Carolyn. We love the restaurant space and the food space and have a lot of that breadth of work there. But in our area, we've had a couple newer airlines roll into our kind of our home airport.
Right.
One of them being Breeze. And Avella is the other one, and it's interesting. I think they're both really intriguing because they're at this really small airport, going to a lot of the same destinations, and the marketing teams at those are certainly challenged with having a lot of overlap, both low cost carriers. So those teams are really interesting, and we feel like we love the kind of the travel destination space and the emotion it can invoke. And even on like that same note, a lot of the campaign that we internally talk a lot about is just the Airbnb made possible by host campaign. And so whoever was in charge of that, we just love that, like the way they took stills and just great music and just made it so emotional. It's just like love that work.
Simple is good. Simple is very good. Do you have a we all have a Hollywood story. Do you have a Hollywood story you want to share? You don't have to name names. You got
That's lots of them.
I'm sure you got lots of them. All right, so let's do a positive one. Who is like the nicest Hollywood person you worked with?
Nicest. I mean, there's
a lot
cool experience. Yeah, there's a lot of nice people, some not so nice too. But I liked my experiences. I worked on a film. It was a crazy film called Spun, SPUN. And it was a really intense movie about this meth cook dealer. Amazing cast. And I was working with that film at Sundance Film Festival. One of the people I thought was just a great pro was John Leguizamo.
I've heard that. I've heard that more than once.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
He just had a great vibe. Yeah. I
saw him in a restaurant in New York once, and I was just like, that guy. And then Bruno Mars walked in, and everyone went nuts. But I like this is the name dropping section of the show.
What restaurant was that?
It was a meat packing pastis.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, but
I went to a restaurant in Palo Alto once, and guess who was there?
Queen Latifah.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, okay, got it.
And everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And he was these Hollywood types, like he was making a plan for some kind of
whatever
something.
Yeah, I was in hip hop radio for 5 years, so that's why I said Queen Latifah. She's lovely. No, is half Italian, like Leguizamo. I'm just like, yeah, of course.
He's great.
Of course. I do have a story. This will be off camera, but I do have a story about somebody who blew a wall of weed smoke into me at a variety party once. So I'll yeah. It was inadvertent, but yeah, it was pretty funny. So I will I'll share that. I'll share that.
You have to subscribe to Doug's Patreon to get that story.
Nah, just subscribe to Indie Agency News. We're all good. I'll tell you all that shit. Yeah, and I will say in my time in hip hop, a vast majority, there was only one person I didn't like in hip hop, and I got a chance to meet so many amazing artists and people in the business. Incredible stuff. And so those experiences I definitely cherish, for sure. Yeah. And I cherish the time. That's a professional broadcast segue there. I appreciate and cherish both of you supporting this mission, and I appreciate you both taking the time to join me today. And thanks so much, and best wishes for continued success.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks for having us on.